advertise all the time. Use a credit card to buy online. Travel first class on all my flights. A secure connection to the website. Gucci, Prada, Versace. I only drink martini. On the guest list every night. From a velvet rose to China white.
I hope you like my hairstyle. When I first got into drum and bass, I was into jazzy stuff, and there wasn't much jazz in drum and bass. So I went for that, and I did some tracks with jazz sessions, and a lot of stuff in my first album had lots of acoustic stuff. So I did that and worked it, and then lots of other people started doing it, and I got a bit bored with it. So I moved on to other stuff, and I did hard things and went into electronic, you know, electro styles and trancey things and a bit of Latin influences, and you know, I just want to go in and break new ground. And you know, once the new ground's been broken, then everyone else starts doing it. I'm not saying I always started because that's not the case, but you know, once a certain sound becomes popular, it gets a bit boring to me, and I want to try something else. I don't want to keep on making the same tracks that all sound the same all the time. You know, sometimes that works, and lots of producers can do that and live happily ever after, but kind of it's a bit too boring for me to do it like that. I wouldn't say I was leading the flow, but I found with the electro stuff that's been very risky, because drum and bass fans are very specific about what they like, and obviously it's got to have breaks and bass lines and stuff. And lately I've been really influenced by 80s stuff and electro clash coming out of New York and Berlin and everything. So I've been doing a lot of drum and bass that sounds like electro clash, but it's still drum and bass. But drum and bass, some drum and bass fans that, you know, die hard, they know what they like. They don't like it, so I have to conform and go back and do normal things for a little while. Sometimes it's risky if you try something a bit too weird and wonderful, but as long as you can do things that make other people happy, then that's fine. I started off producing, and I never wanted to be a DJ, because all my friends that I saw that were DJs at university and stuff, they were really annoying, they had attitudes, and they're like, yeah, I'm a DJ, I'm really cool. I was like, I never want to do that. I was interested in the music and the tracks and everything, and then it's just DJing's a really good opportunity to promote your music.
New York, the 1980s, electronic.
Now I know more about the industry and what I want to achieve. When I make tracks, I have a specific idea for what I want it to do and everything. In the early days, I just make a track for fun, and if people liked it, that would be good and whatever. But now I know more about the way things work. I guess I'm more cynical with it, really. I'm just like a machine when I go in the studio. I've started my own label since then. I have 4 labels that I run on my own. So obviously I want to put my own stuff on my own label first. And then I've recorded stuff for other labels that I admire, and you know, I wanted to show my support. The first demos I sent out on cassette, not even CD or anything, I was only 18. I sent them to all the big labels I knew at that time, and including Metalheads, and Goldie phoned me up personally, and I was only like 19, and my demo was pretty crap. And he had his album out then, and he was, you know, everything was really big for him, but he still like found the time to phone me up and just encourage me and say, yeah, thank you very much, really liked it, maybe do a bit like this. So I was touched by that a long time ago, and obviously I admired the label, as they have a really strong track record, lots of good stuff. And I started doing a track that I thought Goldie would be into. So when I was halfway through it, I knew it would be his sort of thing, so I deliberately made it targeted at the label. I gave it to Bailey, and he played it at Metalheads one night, and Jumpy Jack Frost jumped up on the stage and rewound it, and then blah, blah, you know, everyone heard about it, and then Goldie phoned me up and said he wanted it. I knew it was a Metalheads kind of track. I knew the track could do well if I released it on my own label, but I wanted to give Goldie something for his label to show like I supported him. I knew it would sell even more if it was on his label, so it was just everyone benefited. The remix was much more trancey. It had a 3.5 minute long intro without any beats or anything, and no one had done anything like that in a drum and bass tune for God knows how long, really. And I couldn't have done that with a track no one knew, but because it was a remix of one of the biggest tracks of the year, people paid attention to it, and they're like, oh, trancy drum and bass might just work, you know. So that was my little plan with that, and also just to boost the tune even more. Coming from a science point of view, you know, being logical about things like that, but I really like, you know, it's, in the real world, it doesn't have an effect on me. I'm thinking for my electro stuff, I'm going to do an album of all electro clash and maybe some techno and stuff. And I think I'm going to call myself Robo B for that. But I'm sticking to John B. Like, a lot of people use lots of different names, and I didn't really want to do that because I started my career by people knew I made lots of different styles of drum and bass, and people should have been used to that. I tried to separate what the record was by the label it was on rather than the name I used.